Old media has been co-opted into legitimizing fake news by letting it appear next to it. Stupidest thing we ever did in print media was buy into the lie that information wants to be free. Information, like the rest of us and every other consumer product, wants to be scarce and expensive. I was encouraging all the media companies to turn off Google and then create the mother of all licensing deals to one of these companies. Instead, we gave it away for free, thinking, oh wait, but they'll drive us traffic, which we monetized at X, and they monetized their search ads against our content at 10X, and along the way, we not only legitimized shitty content, it ends up we're now legitimizing fake content. Old media has been co-opted into legitimizing fake news by letting it appear next to it. TV never bought into this bullshit. ABC never said, hey Google, you can cut up Modern Family and play the funniest moments from last night, because they saw how it ended for print. We should shut these platforms down and turn them into sewers of content and start licensing our content.
One of the things that is the problem now is you could say, oh, well, the New York Times and the Washington Post and this place and that place should do that. But then you get, Joe's news blog or the Beltway Gateway or whatever it is that says, well, I'm going to give it to Google. So then Google starts to highlight those things. So it seems like the ship has already sailed.
It may be too late. The biggest strategic error we made in the history of media was letting Google come into our basement and crawl our servers, which was the equivalent in my mind of letting Google literally pull up with a dump truck and take cash out of our vault. I think it was that simple. They pulled a little bit back with the meter, the paywall, but they should get all of their content off of there.
Where do you think these companies are in 5 years? Let's just go through them one by one. Apple.
It's had such an incredible run-up. I think they start to milk the brand by putting it on different things. I would buy a refrigerator if it had an Apple logo on it, and I think the pressure to find new hits will force them to put their brand on different things around the home.
Well, it seems like they haven't done much in a while. I mean,
the iPhone.
But the iPhone. So
period. The iPhone. Period. That's it.
Yeah.
5 years ago, it was a diversified company. It could have been 4 or 5 public companies. Now it's basically the iPhone and the Seven Dwarfs. From a brand standpoint, it's probably the only one that survives a century because it has such this fervor around the brand. And as long as they can find other products to create that sort of brand halo around, they'll do really well.
Google.
So why I am bullish on Google is I think Google has the greatest concentration of IQ ever assembled in the history of mankind. I think they've instilled an appreciation for just raw intellectual horsepower at that company. But I think there's more IQ at Google than there was at the Manhattan Project or NASA. And I think they're just going to figure it out. I think they have a sense, or they're a little bit more self-aware about how dangerous their data could be. And I think that, unlike Zuckerberg, I think they actually kind of get it.
You want to do Amazon or Facebook next?
I think Facebook's the most vulnerable.
Okay, let's go. Let's hear it.
I think this Russia thing is a big deal. I really do. And I think unless they get out ahead of it, they could subject themselves to real scrutiny and real anger from governments. I don't think it's going to happen with consumers. Consumers talk a big game and then want the little black dress for $9.99. So if I was the head of strategy for Amazon, what I think they're doing is they're putting in place all the chess pieces. They've got your credit card history, they've got artificial intelligence, they've got a fulfillment network that puts a warehouse within 20 miles of 45% of the U.S. population, which is misleading. It's really 75% of the U.S. disposable income. They have Alexa. They have an incredible reputation for brand, and they have pretty much every product you ever want. They're going to run a test called Prime Square. And they're going to say, Nick, we think we know what you want.
Before I want it?
0 click. We're going to send you 2 boxes 3 times a week. One's going to be empty. One's going to have all the stuff in it we think you want. You put the stuff you don't want back in it. They're going to run this test. People are going to decide they love it. It's going to take Prime users from $1,300 a year to $7,000. The stock's going to become anti-gravity, go to $1 trillion. We're going to freak out and break them up.
And what is their potential Achilles heel?
Their Achilles heel is Brussels.
And how?
The only regulator in the world whose testicles have descended, Marguerite Vestager, is going to come after them.
And do what?
Break them up, ban them, start fining them $1 billion a month, sue them for non-competitive practices, kick them out of countries. More people have Prime, more households have Prime in the U.S. than voted in the 2016 presidential election or have a landline phone. And if current rates continue, in somewhere between 3 to 7 years, there likely will be more households with Prime than cable television. So we now have, number one is Google and Facebook, but a close number two is going to be the intensity of Prime across all the wealthiest households in America. And now they have license to get into all of our refrigerators. But for all the other stuff in your life you don't want to deal with, they'll just handle it all. They'll handle it all. And they'll do a really good job.